Nebuchadnezzar is one of the recent archer commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. I have seen a lot of rallies with him, I have seen a lot of field battles with him, and I have the privilege in this video to be able to finally summon him myself, and I want to talk in this commander spotlight more in details about Nebuchadnezzar, or Nebu for short, because he's an exceptional archer commander that you might be interested in. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom video. My name is Legend Ronnie and today I'm going to talk about Nebuchadnezzar, his commander spotlight. As you all know, I'm going to fully dedicate this video just for him. He's an archer conquering and skill. I'm also going to summon him and I'm going to go straight to that. Pressing summon, Restore of Babylon, legendary commander, great archer commander. I'm really hyped about him. I do have to say, because I have summoned already Cyrus and probably could have done a commander spotlight about him, but I have not seen so many great things about Cyrus the Great. It's even called Cyrus the Great, and I still haven't seen quite a lot of great things about him. He's definitely very powerful on the field as well, but on the other hand, Nebuchadnezzar, I have seen quite a lot of reports, field battle and rallies, and everyone is praising him to be quite amazing. So I want to detail that in this video. Now, you all know when you summon a legendary for the first time, not that you can summon it for the second time, you get the Return of History. This is one of the best buy bundles if you do plan to spend something in Rise of Kingdoms. Same when you combine a new legendary blueprint on your forge, that's when you get the Vanquisher bundle, if I'm correct, and that's also one of the best buys for material purposes. As you all know, or you don't know, with this account, with my alt account, people please, I plan to migrate to a newer kingdom, 2000 plus, and go to KVK2 and KVK3 again, because I just don't have speed ups to do another Heroic Anthem or Strife of the Eight or whatever this Crystal Tech type of KVKs they're going to keep introduced. So until I'm going to stock up more of those, he's going to migrate to one of the newish commanders. And this is going to be an addition commander because I really plan to work on this commander. I want to invest in him in the future. And since I'm going to go ahead and do KVK2, I have plenty of time to acquire sculptures to be able to max him in the future. I also have other plans like Alexander the Great. He's already 5 on his primary skill. So hopefully where I'm going to migrate, I might just have Wheel, which obviously will help a little. I also plan to do Guan and some of the commanders that are needed for KVK2. Probably get some of those ready. So definitely I'm going to pump up a little bit on this account. But now we're talking about Nebuchadnezzar. I just sidetracked for a little bit. In terms of skills on each and every legendary, you want to keep them on 1 star so you can upgrade the primary skill of each and every legendary or commanders in general. If you upgrade the 2 star and you didn't maximize the primary skill, the skills goes really random, and that's pretty bad if the skills go random. I'm not sure if I do have one of those commander over here. I think I do. For example, I can show you Frederick because I was planning to max skill him, and I said I'm not going to use him until he's max skill, and there you go, 2, 3, 5 for Frederick. Well, this is pretty bad. This is a trash Frederick right now. Until he's going to be max skill, he's useless. I can only use his 12% troops capacity for reinforcement. As a note, since I'm talking about skills, as a 5-5-1-1, I would say that Nebuchadnezzar, he's good to go. You get the sweet 30% archer defense and 15% march speed. But overall, in the end, I would highly recommend that you maximize Nebuchadnezzar. Don't just leave him as 5-5-1-1 because he's really worth it to be max skill. If you just want some minimum investment because you just want some better archers, you can keep him for a very long time or a while, let's say, as a 5-5-1-1. But still, in general, in Rise of Kingdoms, even as a free-to-play, it does worth it to max legendaries. Going further, the equipment only apply from the primary commander, and the talents also only apply from the primary commander. There's also a couple of other things that is very important that you know about the stars and the sculptures and how expensive it is to max legendaries. Going further into Nebuchadnezzar, we could pretty much talk about his pairings, and I can also check if I have some reports, or make sure to post the reports on the screen if I do have. Now, as part of the pairings, I have seen him doing some wonders with YSG. I have seen him doing pretty great with Ramses and various other archer commanders. I've also seen a lot of players trying Nebuchadnezzar with Artemisia, for example, but to tell you the truth, Artemisia is that one commander that you want to put primary. If you want to use for the field battles or any other purposes, you want to put her primary because her force skill goes perfectly with her primary skill. Whenever she gets the silence, you want this 50% damage increase. You want to empower 1800 direct damage factor. And that's why she is very powerful on the field, Artemisia herself. But like I was mentioning, with YSG, he does great. I already said Ramses as well, obviously Cyrus and Tomiris. Now, if you really want to pair Nebuchadnezzar with epic commanders, this is like tier 4 Archer Legendary that we get in Rise of Kingdoms. If you want to pair tier 4 legendaries with epic commanders, I'm not sure if that's really an option. I think at this point you should kind of try to forget about pairing legendaries with epics. Until you get here, yes, you probably don't have a lot of options even as free to play, and it makes sense. But once you get to this point, or probably even before that, like when you get like Artemisia and Ramses, you probably should just try to use legendary commanders. Even if you do 1, 2, 3 marches on the field, you want to make sure that you just use legendary. You want to make sure that you use the best commanders that you have. You want to make sure to use the best equipment so you can have the best output and you can have the best results on the field battle. Because, for example, this account is a low spender account. So if I go to my commanders, you see good equipment on Artemisia. Then if I go to Saladin, he also has good equipment. 3 epics with special talents, and the green ones are still very amazing. Obviously, if you get the epic ones with special talents, then yeah, those are better. But for right now, the green ones are quite amazing. And then I go further down is Zenobia. And that's pretty much about it. I do have other commanders, but look at that, blues and greens and white. Blues and greens, and I believe Charles Mantle has something on him. Yes, blues and greens and white. So it's just 3 commanders, 3 primary commanders that have, let's say, decent equipment that can be used garrisoning, field battles, or rally. Now you're probably wondering, why should you max Nebuchadnezzar? Because as a 5/5, you get the AoE, right? 1500 nuke, you get the Usher bonus, and then the third skill is purely just for conquering. When this commander leads a rally attack, counter-attack damage is increased, and incoming attacks have a 10% chance to deal direct damage to the attacker. So all this has to do with conquering when this commander leads a rally attack. But then you look on the fourth skill, and this is very interesting. Troops led by the commander deal 3% increased damage. Now, when damage is not specified, like what type of damage it is, for example, it is like it says over here, counterattack damage bonus, right? It just says damage. This is considered all damage. Now, if it's all damage, that's skill damage, there's normal attack and counterattack. So, does it worth it to get this skill max? It definitely does, because that's a lot of damage bonus. And each normal attack with a 10% chance to reduce the target's rage by 100. This effect can trigger once every 5 seconds. That is just extra reducing the rage of your target. And then when you go to his expertise, you just get additional damage. Deals direct damage to each target is reduced by 15%, and at the same time deals additional damage to the current target 500. Basically, when you're rallying a flag or whatever other objectives you're rallying, or even if you're doing field battles, when you're hitting the same target or just the primary target, it does an additional 500 damage. That's why legendaries are already worth it to be max skill. Now some other, let's say, unorthodox pairings, like some people would like to call Does Nebuchadnezzar work with some of the other commanders, other legendaries? Maybe they would, maybe Nebuchadnezzar and Alexander, or Nebuchadnezzar and Julius Caesar, or who knows, whatever combination that is crossing to people's minds to do. To tell you the truth, at this point, when you get to tier 4 legendaries, and you're probably understanding what does tier 4 means. When you start the game, you start with Elcid YSG. Later on, you get Edward and Tomiris. Elcid YSG is the tier 1. Edward and Tomiris is the tier 2. Then you get Artemisia and Ramses, which is the tier 3. And the tier 4 is Nebuchadnezzar and Cyrus. I just like to call them like that. Nebuchadnezzar and Mehmed, Nebuchadnezzar and Frederick. Obviously, they work. All these leadership commanders, they are very general to use. But when you get to this type of tier of legendaries, like tier 4, like I was mentioning, you want to make sure that you put specific specialization with specific specializations, meaning that you want to put archer commanders with archer commanders, infantry with infantry, cabs with cabs, and so on, because the equipment and all these stats that just pay off in the end. So you want to make sure that you get the most out of your commanders, equipment, and the best result, either in the battlefield rally or in some situation garrison. Not Nebuchadnezzar, because he's not a garrison, but some other commanders. Now another question is, does Nebuchadnezzar and LCD works? I would say that for field battles they definitely work, but for rally purposes, like I was mentioning, is just with YSG and with Ramses, but I have seen working really great. Probably with Cyrus as well. I haven't seen a lot of rally reports with Cyrus, but with these two commanders, it just works really great. Takes down Zenobia and some of the newish garrison commanders into the game. Regarding his talent tree, it's not very hard to build up his talent tree. You can also check on my Discord. I'm pretty sure there is some talent trees over there. I'll make sure to post some on the screen as well. What I would do with Nebuchadnezzar, I would most likely go with a feral nature type of talent trees and then probably Latin power and put the rest on venomous sting, razor sharp, and then get some full quiver or how much I have left, get some or more attack. Other options you can do with him if you think that rage restoration is not a huge problem for this commander, then you can skip the feral nature and with 7 points you could get the buckler shield, which is really amazing. And after that, you can get the latent power, rejuvenate, clarity, and then put the rest on the archer tree. See how far you can get. Most likely, and definitely get venomous sting, get razor sharp for some extra rage, and after that, how far you can get. Probably Phoenix Tail, but I don't think so because you're already spending 7 on the conquering. Going further down and get entrenched on the conquering, I think that's kind of a waste of time trees because you don't really get a whole lot and you get march speed, which is not the kind of bonuses that you really want for a rally. Probably for a march would definitely help. And you're already losing talent points because you get march speed from over here while going to venomous sting. It's just that 8% skill damage is quite a huge boost. I've tried to do talent trees without venomous sting to avoid spending on this march speed, and I can tell you that I've seen a difference. So definitely want venomous sting. This is a report from some of our defenses. JCC is max tech. You can tell by the troops capacity on the rally, and he's using Ramses and Nebuchadnezzar, and you can see that he's doing some devastating damage to the pass. We're using Zenobia and Theodora. This is what he used. He used Tomiri's passive skill and art of archery. This is from YSG. That's a very, very nice combination that you can use with Ramses and Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, you have seen the results, which is very devastating over here. We used a lot of siege and mix of troops into the pass, and this is the results when you use this kind of troops and mix of troops in the pass. This is another rally with Nebuchadnezzar on the same pass. Even though the power drops is not really that crazy, obviously we lost more troops. And this is Nebuchadnezzar and YSG, and going on to the troops buff, they use 20% more skill damage, which is not a bad choice, and still use the passive skill from Tomiris. I would have used something else if this skill is not max. Let's say Tragedy's End might have been some better results. This is one of our own rally with Ramses and Nebuchadnezzar. 407,000 dead. This is a flag rally versus Zenobia and Theodora. And like I was mentioning, is taking down some of the newish. The troops buff is no longer available, but obviously we had Tomiris passive skill, YSG's skill damage, and counterattack damage in Garrison. Solid pair, Ramses and Nebuchadnezzar, or Nebuchadnezzar and Ramses. This is a place where I would say that Nebu struggled a little bit. It seems to be a level 60 Nebu. Let's go into the troops buff. Max skill, different troops buff, but both are archers and instant damage. And we had Zenobia and YSS in Garrison, and that's Wuzetian passive skill, which is a pretty powerful passive skill. And oblique tactics, I don't think this was the best one to use, but still Zenobia and YSS seems to be holding their own against Nebuchadnezzar and Ramses. The dead was the equal amount of dead, but you have to count the severely wounded, which we took quite a lot. This is when the fortress died, if I'm correct, because you can tell by the remaining troops, I think it went down. And on this rally with Nebuchadnezzar and Ramses, you can tell that on the previous reports or on these reports is pretty much the same thing, because look at that, the severely wounded is still as extra compared to the dead, and you can tell by the power drops that we probably used a little bit more T5s, or that is because of the severely wounded. This is another report from Ramses and Nebuchadnezzar against the flag, Zenobia and Theodora, 410,000 dead, 678,000 dead. If we go on the troops buff, it's all gone, but at least we know the skills they used. So definitely work on Nebuchadnezzar. He seems to be quite amazing in rallies and definitely very strong on field battles as well because of its AoE. And that's where you see the actual value of these commanders like Nebuchadnezzar, because they hit up to 5 targets. On the field battles, that's where their real value shines. If you do have any more questions regarding Nebuchadnezzar or Nebu, make sure to drop them in the comment section below. This is your boy Legendary signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends.